No more talking. Okay, calling the Board of Directors meeting of Riverside School District to order. January 24th, 2024, Riverside Elementary School, 5:30. And we will have a flag salute. Matt, would you lead us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, let's start with remarks for the good of the school.
Alright, hi everybody at the board. Hello everybody out there. I'm Julie Zambis. I'm the principal at Riverside Elementary School. And just want to thank the board for everything that you do on behalf of our school, the teachers, the parents, everybody feels the support. You can see around the room we have some different decorations for you. Over here on the windows, actually, we had a grandparents art walk not that long ago. And those are the winning, each classroom picked the winning artwork that would be displayed. And so you get an opportunity to take a look at that. And then, of course, I mean, can't miss the superheroes over there from Riverside School, which is fantastic.
Yeah, you've been in the gym.
Yeah. Looking pretty good. And then I just wanted to share, so our fantastic music teacher, Miss Kern, wanted to do something special. And so we kind of put our heads together, and there's a special song here for you guys. So I'm going to play it for you real quick.
Yeah, Matt might have messed it up. No, I'm just kidding.
I was pointing out, Janet.
All right. That is awesome.
So they said it better than I can. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Of course.
Other remarks?
Just a reminder that we do have our STEM night coming up next week, Thursday the 1st. We'd love to have as many board members there as we can, 5 to 7. Be up in our tartan floor and wood floor gym. Great opportunity coming to the kids to do some fun activities, robotics. We did all kinds of things last year, so I'm sure we'll have some good this year.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Himley. He was pivotal in helping us put this together. He worked with our action team to plan it and put it together. And it'll be a really fun community event. And like Ms. Rasmussen said, from 5 to 5:30, RES, we're providing a free meal to the first 400 people. So, and then we'll start the activities shortly after. So hopefully people can join.
Other remarks? Penny?
Bill and I attended the town hall last night,
Yes.
and we thought it was wonderful, really beautiful. Dr. Russell did a fabulous job presenting the case to the farm, and the letter very thorough, very compassionate. We really found it to be a good.
For those of you who don't know Bill and Penny Loomis, they are, I think, kind of in an advisory position with us, and we really like them. It's been a long-term commitment that they've made to us in terms of just being. I don't know that you guys miss any meetings, and it's valued. It really is. For a lot of reasons. Bill's helped me with my shoulders. Sheriff Rose, just married the right guy.
Vice versa.
That is true. for a meeting about the bond and levy. And, well, I tell you what, Matt, the fifth grade teacher, did a short presentation to all of the teachers, showing some of the things that he was doing creatively within his classroom. I've never seen anybody do anything quite as well as that. And it's at a great time in a kid's development. Fifth grade is kind of a critical transition point. But boy, they are so fortunate to have that guy as a teacher. Just doing so much to build the confidence and educational level of those kids. So that was really something to see. Any other remarks? Okay, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Need a motion? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the consent agenda. Need a motion? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Dan, you're up.
Okay, thank you, board, REA, union leaders, thank you for the dinner, that was awesome. It doesn't happen everywhere where, you know, you can have good relationships between the superintendent board and teachers and staff and union leaders and the community. It doesn't have to be an us versus them. And so we're in it for kids. I like that. It doesn't mean that we're all buddy-buddy. It means that we're doing professional work. We can disagree and debate, but same mission-driven work. So eating together actually is a big deal. I mean, it is. It's little things like that build relationships. So thanks that you're intentional about it. Also, thanks to those of you who attended the town hall yesterday. Several of you are in the audience, and Penny mentioned that. But what I liked about it was that it's not an easy topic. And I just think that, you know, again, I'll keep preaching this, but I worry about our country with the methods of behaviors that we're seeing from our leaders and on both sides of the debates. And our kids are watching that, and I think we can be different. I really think we can be a little corner of Eastern Washington where we can unite and disagree and debate, but still show compassion and care and love and honor different perspectives and not, it's tough, human nature, right? Because you go in and you have certain strong attitudes and opinions about what you believe, and it's not easy to not be judgmental about a counter opinion. I mean, it takes work. Like, none of us are there. But if we can keep on the journey, and if you can do it at a town hall like that, it means it's possible. It's even more possible if you're just one-on-one. So anyways, let's keep it up. We have another town hall tomorrow, 6 to 7. It's at the middle school commons. It's open to people who are yes voters. It's open to people who are no voters, and it's open to people who haven't made a decision yet. So ballots come out this week. The election is the 13th. I think it might be nice to have a more engaged election. School elections are small, typically. You get a small percentage turnout. So if anything, I hope our kids are watching because they have a voice in this. Our parents have a voice in this. Our citizens who don't have kids in the schools have a voice in this. Obviously, we're very. I told the group last night that in the superintendent job as the board members, we cannot delegate seeing the future. Our job is to see the future. So we have to think 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. And I am absolutely solid about our vision. Our vision is the right vision for our kids, our schools, and our community. It's just hard to see it sometimes because of really what it comes down to is people's feelings about the economy. That's ultimately what it is. So many people last night they were nice. They were not saying that it was anything against the district. It was more around their feeling of what's happening with them financially. So you have to honor that, and you have to kind of work through that. I want to keep reiterating that we actually are thinking about the economy. We're thinking about the now and the future. We have the ability to create economic vitality in Riverside, and a tax base within reason actually helps us do that. But look, I mean, across the street, as I'm in my office, I look across the street and I see these big timbers falling. Big timbers falling. Big timbers falling. Well, drive by Highway 2, look directly across the street, and you'll see all of that being clear-cutted right now. Has anybody seen that? No. So all that property that's right across the street is being clear-cutted because the vision of the Watson, who owns Watson's Market, is a big supermarket. And that's going to be the Watson family store is going to be replaced with a Ace Hardware. That's the vision. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it's another example of growth is occurring. It's going to occur. We can control our destiny by having a solid educational system. That's going to help us all in the long run. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox and I'll get back to a couple other quick reports. One other, because there is more than just the bond and levy going on. I do want to share with you, if you haven't heard, that we're going to have to study athletics, and here's why. So we're in a league called the Northeast A, and right now we have 7 teams in the league. Well, 3 of our teams are not going to be in our league starting next year, and Deer Park is going to be 2A. We're 1A. So Deer Park appealed to the WIAA, which is the state association, to stay in the 1A, and they were denied. There are 19 kids over the threshold of being in the 2A, so or in the 1A. So they are leaving to the 2A. Now the 2A schools are West Valley, East Valley, Pullman. You've got who else am I missing? Clarkston. So those are schools that are slightly bigger than ours, and they're going to be on the smaller end of that. So that's one thing. Freeman and Newport are now 2B schools. I know, isn't that wild? So they fell under the new threshold of they're smaller than 1A, and they could have tried to opt up, but they wanted to go 2B. So now you have Freeman, Newport, who are no longer in our league. You've got Deer Park, who's no longer in our league, and that leaves Medical Lake, Riverside, Colville, and 9 Mile Falls. So what I want to make sure everybody knows is that we're looking at different options. One option is to stay in a 4-team league and then have what is called a scheduling alliance with the 2A schools. And then you would play, for example, the 3 teams that are in your league, you would play them twice. Because as you can imagine, if you played them 4 times, that would not be good. So you play them twice, and then you play a 1 game against the 2A schools. Okay. Now the 2B league wants us to join with them, and Ryan and Clint and myself and some others. We're not quite as interested in that. We don't feel that meets our needs because it's like they're eating their cake and eating it too. So they get to go down into a smaller league, and then they get to play a higher league. And if they beat us, it looks good for them, and if we lose, it doesn't look good for us. So we would rather, maybe, it all depends on what we decide. We got to have, I think we'll probably end up having another town hall on the athletics one. We got to do some thought exchanges, where you send out electronic, what do you think about this? Because this isn't, people get fired up about athletics. So you got to be really thoughtful about this. But one option is to do a 1A, 2A combo league. And if you did that, you would be in the greater Spokane. Okay? And you would play your 1A twice, and then you'd play your 2A once, and then you'd go to postseason just with your 1A. The other option is to do a 1A alone, and then have a scheduling alliance with the 2A, but not be in the same league. There's a bunch of things to think through. If you're interested, the board, we have to, like I said, we're going to have to look at all the data. There's a revenue sharing model in the Greater Spokane League. I'm very familiar with the Greater Spokane League, having been the athletic director at Ferris, and then the principal at Meade. And so there's some ups and downs to that. Being our own league, there's some advantages, but there's some challenges. We could look at the 1A, 2B combo as well. It's not off the table, but it's just something that I wanted you to be aware of. It just happened because Deer Park just denied, and the rulings were made by the state. So, anyways, I think we're going to be okay no matter how we land. But yeah, any other thoughts, questions, even from the crowd, advice on what we need to look at? It's interesting. Things change.
Well, and it all just came out last week.
Yeah, the reason we haven't engaged in it a lot is there have been so many unknowns. It's like we wouldn't even be able to give direction on what to look at. So if Deer Park would have won their appeal, we'd have we'd be able to do a 5-team league pretty decently. But a 4-team, getting a little bit. Independent is a hard one because have you ever seen any college teams that are independent? It's like, that's really pretty much like, yeah, let's go play Kalispell, Montana. I mean, it's not as realistic, to do an independent schedule. So anyways, it's good. It's still nothing that we can't battle through, but it is a big change. I just hope we keep playing Deer Park because no matter what, we're actually in a good position, in my opinion, because if you play Deer Park and you beat them and they're a 2A school, Village of Concord, we're going to beat them anyway. So that's just an awareness, planting the seed. We're going to have some more formal discussion.
I like your idea about having evening.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of
Parents can
interest.
come in and.
Yeah. Yeah, especially those who are in like athletics, or some might not care as much, but definitely open up.
Some really
And
good.
kids, we're bringing in, we need to bring in athletes, student athletes, talk to them, see what they think. Bringing in the coaches, talking to them, see what they think. But we've got to know the numbers because we're in charge of the budget, so we have to know exactly like what's the benefit financially. And then as our community, would they be cool if we're in the Greater Spokane League? Would they see, oh, Spokane, why are we doing Spokane? I don't know. I don't know if they would. Some might like it. Some might. You get access to stadiums, so like you could play you play at the Union Stadium at Meade and they don't charge you. Whereas now, if you want to play there, they charge you like $5,000. So I don't know. It could be something to consider. These gentlemen over here have been about to present. They know all about this kind of stuff. But yeah, so exciting, but also challenging. The last thing I wanted to. Sorry. Matt.
What was our approximate timeline on having? When do we have to have a decision?
Well, what I told him is there any way we can wait until the bond and levy's over? Because you don't want to just stir up a bunch of controversy. So I think post levy bond we did together, and then the 2A is already meeting because they're doing scheduling for fall sports. I think if we were to finish the bond and levy, that's the 13th is the election. We schedule something. I think we could probably schedule something before that, just an informational night or something. But then decision-making wise, we would probably need to make a decision by either the end of February or the end of March. Okay. Somewhere in there. I'm sorry about the tight timeline, but we just don't have a year to study. So, yeah. Okay. The last thing is, I just got notice that we can, if we want, host an event. It's called Screen Agers. Has anybody ever heard of Screen Agers? Well, what it is it's an educational program for students and parents and staff about peace. Okay, and so it's really good because they've done it in some other schools. My brother in Freeman said they had 250 people show up in the community, and it was really good. And then what you do is you watch the movie, and you have to pay $250 to host it. Seems pretty reasonable. And then you have a panel of experts in mental health, and then you also have a couple of people on your staff. But it's meant to be, because we don't have a town, and because not necessarily people are organizing that, it might be a service to the community to say, let's talk about this. That we don't have all the answers. Doesn't mean we throw away all these things, but it just means what are some of the implications that are happening? What are they learning in the science? What are they learning in the research about this? How might it be contributing positively? How might it be contributing? Everything in moderation is what my mom always taught me. And so, it's probably that. It's like, you know, things like maybe put your phone away at 9 o'clock, you know, and go to bed. It's little thing. Nothing happens good, you know, at midnight. So, you know, or the fact that there's drug selling that happens over social media. You know, you hear those stories, right, of Snapchat, where it's not even a real friend. It's somebody, a drug dealer in Spokane, and they're pretending to be somebody. Next thing you know, there's a deal, and parents aren't monitoring it, or whatever the case may be. Things like, you know, you can monitor your kids' phone. It's actually allowable, you know. So, anyways, but it's also, there's some good things in technology. So, I think we should do it. We don't have to do it. The big thing is whether we can host anything, because we don't have the facilities necessarily to bring in, you know, a super ton of people, because you have to have a screen, you have to have some things. So it'd either be in the Commons or the NPR, but then we're limited to how many people we can do. So I'll see how big the audience has to be. But I wanted to take the time just because I think it's a good opportunity to educate people. And it would help kids, you know, overall, other than just academics, just holistically. So that's about it on the report. Questions, comments?
I'd love to learn more about that.
Wait, yeah, you can, I've got some websites and stuff we can send out. Put it in the minutes. We'll put it in the minutes about, people can take a look at it and see. I don't know yet because I haven't watched it, but I've just gotten reports of it's really good. It's not controversial. It's just truth and straight and good. So if anybody knows something about it, let us know. And I think that's it for my report.
Thank you, Ken. The next item is a presentation from, and it's going to be dealing with project delivery methods. Ken and I went to this meeting down on Sprague Avenue a while back, and the best part of the meeting was these guys. They just really, really stimulated the group in terms of just what we're dealing with in the bond and other issues, and what we do after you win one of those things. How do you manage the project? It's a big job. Ken, would you like to?
Yeah, I'll do a quick introduction. So I want to make it go on record, Caitlin, that we're not doing this because we're cocky that we're going to win the bond. That's not the point at all. I mean, we don't know if we're going to win the bond. It's up in the air right now. But what we think is important, openly and publicly, is to communicate. If we were lucky enough to win the bond, you got to be really transparent about executing the plan. And so there's a lot of things we've learned in the process that other people don't know. So we need some experts from the field to come in and teach us about these delivery methods. So the other reason to do it now is if we won the bond, then you want to get going. And the reason is you can cut the cost down because you won't have as much escalation and inflationary factors. You can get the supply chain going because that's a real challenge going on in construction, and you can get subcontractors. You don't, if let's say West Valley wins, we win, and they beat us to the subcontractors, you know, now we're competing for the same people on jobs. So we're not trying to be ahead of the game. We're not trying to say it's going to happen. We're just trying to be good stewards if we were to pass it. So we've asked the gentleman from Turner Townsend Erie. They were the construction management company that worked with us on the middle school project. So they've been nice enough to volunteer their time to come out here and teach us up on what is called project delivery methods. I'm going to introduce David Bodine, and he's going to introduce his crew. Thanks for being here, David.
Happy to. With me is John Minder and Rob Gross. You may recognize them from the time on the middle school project. I'm going to do my best. No clicker, I don't.
Yeah, so I think what we
I'm just going to
have.
touch the board.